One of the most important things that you can ask your partner today, if you're in a relationship, is to sit down and have a conversation about how you want your life to look together 10 years from now. Now, this is really important. You can do 5 years, you can do 10 years, and you can do a longer conversation another time about in retirement what you want it to look like. But this is really important. In 5 years, you can make some changes. You can move to a different home. You can pay off some vehicles. You can do some things. But 10 years is far enough forward that it allows you the opportunity to dream a little bit and to say, okay, within the next 10 years, first of all, what do we want to accomplish as a couple? Meaning, do we want to buy a house and have lived there? Do we want to be debt-free? Do we want to have paid off our cars or our credit cards? Or do you want to finish a degree or a certification? These things are really important to be able to sit down and plan together. And then you say, where are we going to live? Where do I want my career to be at that point? What do we want to have either added to our life? Do we want to add a child? What do we want to have out of our life? Our kids are going to be moved out of the house, or we want to live in this different area. All these things facilitate a healthy discussion about where you want to be together as a unit. And then the very important next part is actually that you write this down. So whether you do this each on Notes app in your phone or you do it on paper, which is, for some reason, it sticks even more when you write it down on paper. Maybe it's the effort to do so, to go grab the pen, the paper, to do it, to talk about it. So this is where it's really important to go, okay, so if one of those goals is going to be, we want to be debt-free in 10 years, then you have to write the steps below it that it'll take to achieve it. We've got to make all our monthly payments on time. We've got to pay off our credit cards. We've got to pay off these 2 cars. Those are the steps that it would take to achieve being debt-free. Or if we want to buy a house, we need to open a separate savings account, and we need to save X number of dollars every month towards the house until we have the, 15, 25, if you're in California, $50,000, whatever it happens to be, down payment. You have to build towards those things in steps. And it's the same thing with anything else that you're going to do, is you have to look at what you want to do and then what it's going to take to achieve it. Now, if you do this, you can do this for a smaller period of time as well. The 10 years, like I said, gives you a period to dream together. And you're also going to be able to tell. I would really encourage you to actively listen during this conversation, really pay attention to what the other person says. This conversation can also bring, I don't want to say problems, but it can bring a lot of clarity, because if the person completely sees themselves in a different way, or the relationship and where you guys are at in a different way, that will really bring that to the surface for that conversation. Another way you can do this too is to extend it further. Once you've done this 10-year one, then what inevitably happens is you have kind of a shorter one. This is what we would have to kind of do to build towards. So you say, maybe we need to do this every year on our anniversary. We have a 10-year plan, and we need to make steps as to where we're moved towards our 10-year plan. And what'll happen once you do that is that you see it's a mess on the way, but some of it will get achieved, some of it will get changed, and some of it will get moved off as not important anymore. But I'd say sit down and have a conversation where you set out a 10-year plan together, and then make that an anniversary date that if you guys did it today and then your anniversary is in August of next year, do it every August on your anniversary around that time to sit down and talk that out. And then what inevitably also happens is that long-term discussion is about, this is what we want our life to look like when we retire. And when you do that, you also get a good idea of how much the person wants to travel, what kind of home they want to live in, how they want things to be set up with their family dynamics. And it's a great discussion because it just brings everything to the surface. It brings shared goals and purpose to the surface. It brings the method that you're going to get there to the surface. And it also brings important differences to the surface so that you guys can address them to see if you're going to be able to work towards them or work through them or not. And so if you guys have a really great thing that is a question that couples should ask each other, put it below. I'd like to see what you guys think is really important. But this is one of the most important discussions for couples, is where do we see ourselves as a couple in 10 years? And then the follow-up, how are we going to get there together?